Let me ask you about some of the things that came up in the documentary.
Right. Well, I haven't seen it, so you
know... But this happened in your life, so you know about this. The Times let you go after you'd made up a quote. Why did you make up a quote?
Well, this again, you know, these are big terms for what happened. Well, I can tell you the whole thing. I mean, I think are you sure our viewers wouldn't want to hear more about?
Well, if you don't want to talk about the made-up quote, let me talk about something.
It was a long and lamentable story.
Okay, but you made a quote.
Well, what happened was that I ascribed events that were supposed to have taken place before the death of Piers Gaveston to events that actually took place after the death
you made
of Piers
something
Gaveston.
up. Let me ask you about another little...
I mean, I mildly sandpapered something somebody
Let me ask
said,
you about a barefaced lie.
Very embarrassing. I'm very sorry about it.
Let me ask you about a barefaced lie. When you were in Michael Howard's team, you denied to him you were having an affair. It turned out you were. And he sacked you for that. Why did you lie to your party?
Well, I mean, again, with great respect, on that, I never had any conversation with Michael Howard about that matter, and, you know, I don't...
You did lie to him.
Well, you know, I don't propose to go into all that again.
I don't blame you.
No, well, why should I? I mean, I've been through, you know, that question a lot with the... Watch the documentary.
Okay.
Why don't we talk about something else?
The programme also includes... Well, this is about your integrity.
Okay.
The programme includes your reaction as you listen to a phone call in which your friend, Darius Guppy, asks you to supply the address of a journalist so that he can have him physically assaulted. The words beaten up and broken ribs are said to you. And you, having heard that, you tell your friend, Darius Guppy, you will supply the address. What does that say about you, Boris Johnson?
Well,
aren't you, in fact, making up quotes, lying to your party leader, wanting to be part of someone being physically assaulted? You're a nasty piece of work, aren't you?
Well, you know, Eddie, I think all three things I would dispute.
Well, you don't factually dispute them.
Well, I do, and I could, you know, if we had a long time, which we don't, I could explain that I think all three interpretations you're putting on those things aren't wholly fair. And certainly the final thing which you raise, which is the case of my old friend Darius. Yes, it was certainly true that he was in a bit of a state, and I did humour him in a long phone conversation, from which absolutely nothing eventuated. And you know, there you go. But I think if any of us had our phone conversations bugged, they might, you know, people say all sorts of fantastical things whilst they're talking to their friends.
But even Conrad Black, your friend,
I think
convicted fraudster, even he says he doesn't trust you completely.
I hadn't seen that Conrad had said that, but obviously, you know, nonetheless, I've got a great admiration for Conrad, who, in my view, is a pretty good journalist.
This guy has got my blood up, all right, and there is nothing which I won't do to get my revenge. It's as simple as that.
How badly are you going to hurt this guy?
Not badly at all.
I want to know.
Okay, let me explain this.
If this guy is serious, I'm fucking curious.
I guarantee you, he will not be serious.
How badly hurt will he be?
He will not have a broken limb or broken arm. He will not be put into intensive care or anything like that. He will probably get a couple of black eyes and a cracked rib or something like that. Nothing which you didn't suffer in rugby, okay? But he'll get scared, and that's what I want him to do. I want him to get scared. I want him to have no idea who's behind it, okay?
Gary, I get it.
You will not, Boris. I swear to you. If you knew...
I'm not concerned. I just got this bloody number for you. Okay, Gary, I said I'll do it. Don't worry.
Boris, I really mean it. I love you.
You talk about a coalition of chaos, but isn't this a manifesto of chaos now? What else are you going to clarify within the next few days? And also, what message do you think this is sending out to those prime ministers and chancellors around Europe that you are prepared to be so flexible with what you originally set down in stone?
I think the message that our manifesto sets out is that as a party and as a leader, I and we, the party, are prepared to be honest with people about the challenges that we face.
You have just announced a significant change to what was offered in your manifesto, saying there will now be the possibility of a cap on social care that was not in the plans that was announced just 4 days ago. That doesn't look so strong and stable, Prime Minister, does it? It looks rather like panic in the face of opposition.
You have just buckled under pressure over your social care plans. Isn't this U-turn really just a cynical attempt to stop voters leaving you in droves?
Look, first of all, let's be clear. We have not changed the principles that we set out in the manifesto.
Doesn't this show that you are really weak and wobbly, not strong and stable? Can you give us an idea of what the cap will be? 100,000? 200,000? 500,000? Don't the people of this country have a right to know what the cap will be?
Can you answer yes or no to this question? Will anything else in the manifesto change between now and June the 8th?
Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. We are offering a long-term solution for the sustainability of social care for the future. Here in this House, I've long heard the Labour Party asking what the Conservative Party does for women. Well, just keeps making us Prime Minister.
I made this.